Hello, y'all. It's Rick with Uncommon Communion coming back at you at the time that I like to record this. Although, looking ahead to the next 3 days, I may not get this same time. So don't get too familiar with it. Just look for an update in your feed as to when I am posting these little video messages, or perhaps you are getting them as audio messages as a podcast. Well, let's begin, as we always begin, by remembering that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of God. So, I want to share with you a couple of prayers today. But before that, I want to tell you about something really awesome I saw this morning that really excites me. First, a little bit of context and a little bit of politics. So, I woke up this morning feeling particularly anxious about what is going on in our nation. And by our, I mean the United States. If we have international viewers here, listeners, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We in the United States are in a crisis, and we are very close, like this close to a five-alarm constitutional crisis. And it, quite frankly, could come at any time. Let me explain. And I'll tell you why I was anxious this morning. So, one of the moments that will be pivotal in whether or not we retain our democracy is if and when Trump and the MAGA Republicans defy a court order. Now, remember, just real quick civics lessons, we have three branches of the government, right? Article 1 is the Congress, Article 2 is the executive, Article 3, as described in the Constitution, is the judicial. And they're supposed to have checks and balances. They're supposed to be in tension with each other, right? Well, Congress, owned by MAGA, is out to lunch. They're not doing anything. And as we saw with the Democrats, the one place that they could have a little bit of power, they got rid of too. So Congress, out of the question right now. So that leaves us to the judicial, right? That is where all of these crazy executive orders that Trump is doing is going to the judicial, and by and large, they are being blocked. Now, in the judicial, of course, you can advance things to higher levels of courts. You can appeal things ultimately to the Supreme Court, who has the final judgment. Well, this has been going on for a while. It's really the judicial that is the bulwark that is preventing worse chaos. The problem is, though, that the judicial does not really have enforcement, right? Because the Justice Department, the FBI, the military, all of those other branches of raw power on the streets, boots on the ground power are under the executive. And this is something I don't think our founders ever really fully contemplated, that we could essentially have a mad king in the executive, a Congress that is absolutely rubber stamping everything that he is doing, and everything comes down to the judicial. If and when a judicial order is implemented and Trump and his people do not like that, and they say, make us. No, we don't want to do this. Make us. At that moment, it is a five-alarm constitutional crisis because the court really can't do anything. It really comes down to two things: the stock market, which we know has been volatile recently, and quite honestly, the people in the streets. And I won't go into details here. You can read about it elsewhere. But this situation with the Alien and Sedition Act and the planes of Venezuelan, quote unquote, gang members, right, being flown to El Salvador that happened over the weekend, very likely was against a court order. We're going to find out more about that today, but this could be it. Now, the question is, what happens when the court order that is defied by the Trump MAGA, what happens next? And we don't know. We don't know. That's what I was feeling anxious about this morning. I prayed, had a good time in prayer, but it really wasn't until I went outside that I was able to settle. Because I was walking my pooch, as I do every morning, and I was trying to do what I've talked about here, a wonder walk, right? Where I'm going to look and pay attention and ask wonder questions. And my big wonder question recently has been, I wonder when trees in my neighborhood are going to start to bud break, right? When they're going to go from the bare branches to the first little buds that will eventually turn into flowers and eventually turn into leaves, right? And yesterday I took a picture in my neighbor's yard, in the backyard, of a tree. I posted that on my written post for today. I saw the second one in my other neighbor's yard, but one I can get up close to because there's not a fence around it. It literally overhangs the sidewalk where I walk my pooch. So I'm going to take a photo of that. I'm sure I will post that tonight when I do my post for tomorrow. But here's the thing that makes me so excited is because I know what that tree in my neighbor's yard that I can literally touch and whose leaves and blossoms fall onto my yard, I know what that looks like at the end of this. I have seen it, I've taken pictures of it in other seasons. I've never seen it from start to finish. And this year, this Lent, as I am a planetary Lenten pilgrim, I am paying attention to that. And I'm going to look at it every day and I'm going to approach it with a sense of curiosity and wonder. And you know what? That calms me, even as it excites me, but it helps me put the rest of this in perspective, right? It also helps nourish me for what we will need to do, what I will need to do, what we will need to do as we stand up in the streets for our democracy. So I invite you to take some wonder walks. I've talked about them here. I'm going to share with you soon about some other types of walks that you can take. I've come up with some pithy names, I think, and I'll share those with you. But take some wonder walks, especially right now. If you're here in a climate like I'm in, Central Ohio, Midwest, you will probably start to see the very beginnings of bud breaks on trees. And hopefully before long, we're going to start to see, daffodils, right? And other bulbs that are starting to come up from the ground. And I'm going to be paying attention to all of those because I need to. I have to. It connects me and it grounds me and it nourishes me. Another thing that nourishes me are prayers that I read each day. And I want to end this with two little prayers that come from two of the sources that I read each day. I've referred to these before, but I'll put them into the notes. Just a quick message. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to this. If you are a subscriber, you can use the chat, which you can start. You can just start a chat. If you're a subscriber, you're going to see the notes. You'll see anytime I post something. Even if you're getting things through email, using the app and or the substack.com website are really great resources. They really can kind of expand what you can do. So I encourage you to do that. Please pass this along to others. I'm sure you have friends or family, colleagues in your life who are feeling kind of disillusioned about things, who maybe have kind of given up on organized religion, or maybe they want to do something this time of year for Lent, but what they've done in the past just isn't working for them. That's kind of where I am. Share this with them, get involved. I really do want to form a sense of community here. So we'll close with these two little prayers. The first one comes from a centering prayer book. Both of these are simple. Beloved, I wait, I pray. Give me strength to endure this Lenten fast and help me with the sneaky temptations I don't expect. Underneath my hunger, the taste of eternity lingers deeper than any satisfaction, food or drink or the internet or anything might provide. Amen. And the second one, and our last one here, is from a Celtic prayer book. And even though yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, we can still, and I think always, honor the Celtic people. And this is, God, alone by the sea, I feel your wildness in the waves. Alone by a quiet lake, I see your peace. in the calm water. Alone in the forest, I hear your voice in the leaves. Alone in the desert, I breathe your fierce heat in the air. Come, I pray, to me in these empty places and heal my heart. May you find empty places today that your heart may be healed. May you pay attention to the world around you, pay attention to the politics around you, and understand that these are unique times. And in the words of Rainier Maria Rilke, one of my favorite poets, he says, "This time is a good time if you know what to do with it." And may we gain discernment and strength and courage to be able to know what to do with it. Blessing and good. Be well.